If it don't make dollars, then it don't make sense. I gotta get paid. I'm steady trying to make $1 out of 15 cents. I gotta get paid. If you ain't talking money, then you ain't saying shit. I gotta get paid. Nothing move but the money, yo, it ain't no game. I gotta get paid.
What up? Welcome to the 9th episode of CryptoCast, presented by Cream Scheme. On today's CryptoCast, we'll be chatting about the OG, the market leader, and quite possibly the world's soon-to-be reserve asset, Bitcoin, and more specifically, why rich people and institutions have been gobbling up as much Bitcoin as possible in recent years. Let's start off with the words of Raoul Pal, a well-respected former hedge fund manager and macro investor who disclosed a few weeks ago that he was selling all of his gold holdings to invest more money into Bitcoin and Ethereum. He described Bitcoin as, quote, the world's most pristine reserve asset for individuals and institutions. And he also stated in a tweet that, quote, Bitcoin is eating the world. And he backed that statement by comparing other asset classes, such as equities, bonds, and commodities, to Bitcoin, and showing that their value relative to Bitcoin is dropping. By November of this year, 2021, Paul is on record estimating that Bitcoin will be worth anywhere between $150K and $250K. That's $250,000. Furthermore, within 5 years, he states that Bitcoin can reach $1 million per coin. That would place Bitcoin's market cap above that of gold. Early Bitcoin investors Tyler and Cameron Winklevoss assert that Bitcoin will be the best performing asset of this decade, just as it was in the previous one. In a November interview on CNBC, Tyler stated, quote, our thesis is that Bitcoin is gold 2.0 and it will disrupt gold. If it does that, it has to have a market cap of $9 trillion. So we think Bitcoin could price one day at $500,000 a Bitcoin. On the institutional front, the company MicroStrategy, which is publicly traded on NASDAQ, invested over $1 billion over the course of 2020, acquiring approximately 70,500 Bitcoin. Their stock price tripled from mid-March 2020 to the end of the year. Their CEO, Michael Saylor, is a bold Bitcoin advocate who recently engaged in a Twitter discussion with Elon Musk of Tesla, encouraging him to consider converting Tesla's balance sheet into Bitcoin. In December 2020, asset management firm Grayscale, just by themselves, bought nearly 3 times as many Bitcoin as were mined that month. Similarly, PayPal and Square are buying up large amounts of Bitcoin as well. All of this means that no new supply is really coming into the market. All of it is being gobbled up. The mysterious institutional investor who goes by the moniker Plan B took what's known as the stock-to-flow model, which measures the relationship between the stock of a resource, typically a commodity, and its production rate. And he applied that model to Bitcoin back in March 2019. Although this was a controversial move, and dissenting voices assert that the model is wrong when applied to Bitcoin, Plan B's model has Bitcoin hitting $288,000 by 2024, $1 million after the 2024 halving, and $10 million after the 2028 halving. And up to this time, Plan B's stock-to-flow model as applied to Bitcoin has been quite accurate. Those numbers sound more than a little crazy when you look at where Bitcoin currently is. But where Bitcoin currently is sounded pretty fucking insane just a few short years ago. And even less than a year ago, back in March 2020, when Bitcoin's price fell below $4,000. And as institutional money continues to pour into the space, and perhaps governments themselves even in the not too distant future, not to mention everyday retail investors, are the numbers really that crazy? That's the question you have to ask yourself. Regardless, time will tell. What are your thoughts on where Bitcoin is headed over the course of the next year? What about the next 5 years? What about the next 10 years? Leave a comment sharing your thinking. Subscribe to us on whatever platform you're listening to this CryptoCast on, whether that be YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or SoundCloud. And if you happen to be on all 4 of them, subscribe to us on all 4. Scheme with us on social media, on Instagram, at cream_scheme, and on Facebook, Twitter, and Tumblr, at Cream Scheme. Thanks for tuning in to this 9th episode of CryptoCast presented by Cream Scheme. Thanks for scheming with us. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.